Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, you're very welcome. My name is Couscous and this is the Get Ahead family. On this channel, I share information on how to migrate abroad through work and through studies. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys tips for writing cover letters that would stand out and would allow you to be shortlisted or help shortlist you for interviews. What do I mean? When you submit an application, a lot of people are also submitting that same application for a job vacancy. However, there are certain skills and techniques and strategy you need to adopt if you want your cover letter to stand out, if you want to be shortlisted for that application or for interview. I'm going to be using the skills and strategies I adopted that worked for me and I was shortlisted for interview, and this video is a continuation of the video I made about how to write a CV that would help you stand out and would get you shortlisted for interview. So if you have not watched that video, I think you should start from that one before you watch this one, because it's a continuation. There are certain tips I shared there that I would just assume that you already know, because I'm not going to waste so much time in this video. I actually spent a lot of time in that video showing how to write CVs, how to the keywords and everything. So I'm going to assume that you have watched that video and you understand everything in that video, so that whatever I'm saying in this video you can easily understand. So welcome back to the channel. If you're yet to subscribe, please do well to subscribe to the channel, join the Get Ahead family, and let's get right into this video. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this video, I'd like to introduce the sponsor of this video, Amber Students. Amber Students is a platform that provides student accommodation for students at different study abroad destinations. They have a whole lot of accommodations on their websites that you can go through and select, and they have a whole team that are available to assist you in the paperwork and in avoiding all the obstacles that international students usually experience. So please visit the website. I'm going to put the link in the description box so that if you're planning to study abroad, especially UK, US, Australia, you can visit the website, go through the accommodation, see the requirements, and book an accommodation that is nearest to your university within your budget. So yes, before you go ahead to make an application, write a cover letter, you should ensure that your qualifications closely match the person's specification that they are looking for. You don't have to have all the skills that they need, but you should have at least more than 50% of the skills they need, because it is only that in that way that you are able to present a convincing application. If you see an application that maybe you don't have the qualification they need, or you don't have the certification they need, you might just find another one that closely meets. Or if you see an application and you know that okay, they have the details of the application date, application closing date, and when interviews are likely to be done, you may decide to go and enroll in the certification they are looking for. Get the certification, and in your cover letter you can explain that you are in the process of getting the certification and you will get it before the interview date, so that way it is persuasive enough. So the next thing you have to understand is that you're going to write the cover letter using the keywords that is being used in the job description. The same thing I shared during the CV. Usually, when you submit an application, recruiters use applicant tracking system to sift the application and shortlist candidates. Because there are so many applications that come in, recruiters would use keywords to filter applications. So of course, applicant tracking system is a software, and they'll probably just impute the keywords that they need the software to bring out the relevant CVs that have these keywords. This is why it is very important for you to always include the relevant keywords used in the job description, in the application, in the skills, the person specification they need, so that at least you stand a chance for your CV and your cover letter to be ranked at the top, so that they can easily see it. Also, that the applicant tracking system can highlight your CV as one of those that have most of the requirements for the job. I'm going to record my screen so that I can show you guys what I mean with the sample cover letter. So I'm going to be sharing based on my experience. This is what worked for me. The disclaimer here is that it need not work for you, or it does not mean that if you do this and it doesn't work for you that I was telling a lie or I was trying to mislead you. It only means that maybe they're looking for something else. But this is what worked for me, which has also worked for other people. And this is part of the things I gathered from recruiters and career counselors that I applied, I put into practice, and it worked for me. Let's just imagine that we've already identified the job we are going to apply for. If you have not watch the video that I showed you how to identify the jobs that you should apply for, especially if you're a foreigner and you want to apply for jobs abroad. Then watch those 2 videos. But this tip is going to work for you whatever location you are in and whatever job you want to apply for. This tip is definitely going to work for you. What you should know is that for CV depends on the country. They have their country style, and it depends on the profession. Your profession, if your profession is conservative, then you have to use a conservative kind of CV. If your profession is loud, creative, colorful, you have to use that kind of CV as well. But for cover letter, it is almost the same thing. It's just that some organizations will ask you questions, direct questions that they intend that you should answer. Other organizations will just put a general statement like, can you demonstrate why you are suitable for this role? So yes, I'm going to be using that question to show you with the cover letter, because even if they ask you different questions, the aim is just for you to ensure that you demonstrate how you fit in. So yes, you still have to use the same principles to answer all the specific questions they may ask you, as well as the general question of, can you demonstrate how you fit into this role? My light is misbehaving. I don't know. I have to change the battery. Yes, this is better, right? Thank you, Jerry. Light is back. Okay, so let me first of all show the job description, and then I will show the cover letter that I used and I was shortlisted for interview. It means that I did something right. It means that the strategy I used worked. Now, this is a series. I've been taking you guys through how to identify jobs that will sponsor skilled worker visa abroad, how to know the kind of employers that will sponsor, how to make this application. I showed you a video about how to make an outstanding CV, and now I'm talking about cover letter. So the aim is that the CV and cover letter you're going to do is going to get you shortlisted for interview. So I'm also going to do a video talking about interview tips that have worked for me over the years. I'm going to use that as well. And then after the interview, congratulations, you have now been shortlisted, you have been selected for the job. And then we're going to also share other tips that you would use, maybe for negotiating your benefits, and also maybe for applying for visa. This is a process, so you need to join the Get Ahead family. If you have not subscribed, you are missing. You have to subscribe, because we are in this together. We're going through this process together, and I pray that it will yield fruitful results for all of us. Now, I have a job description here, which is contract manager, and this is the purpose of the job. So I'm going to put it side by side with the cover letter so that it is very easy for us to understand and to be faster, because this is what got me shortlisted for interview. Like, even I even applied for the job, I was like, maybe I don't meet the requirement, but I was like, let me just do it. Because you might think that you don't have the requirements, but when you think back or sit down and think about the experience you've gathered over the years, remember that I said you should only apply for jobs that you closely match the experience. So it means that there are possibilities that you actually have those experiences, but you don't think you do until you sit back and think about it and know, okay, I do have this. So when I saw this vacancy, I was really stalling, but eventually I was like, oh, let me just apply, and let me still adopt the technique that I've been adopting that has worked for me. I actually adopted that technique and I applied, and I was shortlisted for interview, even when I felt like this role was too high for me, but it wasn't after all. The purpose of this role is to be responsible for the negotiation and management of a portfolio of research and research-related contracts. It's in the main duties and responsibilities. It says contract negotiation, portfolio management, professional development. And then, of course, you always know that there's person specification. So, first of all, I always ensure that when I am drafting a cover letter, I use the keywords in the person specification, and I also use the keywords in the job description. I use that to demonstrate that I meet the qualifications. In fact, I am the person you're looking for. Carry me today. It is me you're looking for. If you don't select me, you're missing. That's the approach I used. If you don't select me, that's your own. I feel like you have missed. The interviews I have done that they eventually did not select me, I'm like, it's your loss. It's your loss. Because I always prepare so much for my interview, and I always feel good after the interview, but I still get rejected. I'm like, I don't blame you people, because you are missing me. I'm good enough. Because why will I waste time preparing for interview? When I have an interview, I cannot do any other thing. It is that everything I'll be preparing for. I'll read everything readable on your website. I will prepare for everything. I'll watch YouTube videos. I will do every. And you don't select me. You wasted my time. I don't blame you. So, under the person specification, they needed somebody who was a graduate, undergraduate degree or equivalent, relevant professional and academic qualification or equivalent, legal qualification, professional or academic, knowledge of contract law, knowledge of intellectual property, knowledge of university and higher education structures and funding sources, including EU and international funding. So let me see how I started. Dear hiring manager, the following are the reasons why I am confident that I am the right candidate for the position of contract manager at the university. My academic and professional experience over the years have provided me with knowledge of contract law and practice. That's one keyword for the job. I have ticked one keyword. In fact, usually what I do is when I am writing my cover letter, once I demonstrate one keyword, I indicate in the job description so that I know the keywords that I am yet to demonstrate. Because at the end of the day, out of 100% of the keywords in this job description, I want to be able to demonstrate 80% of them. I want to be able to use 80% of the keyword in my cover letter so that the applicant tracking system would always pick it up. You cannot not pick it. You have to pick it. So I've been able to demonstrate contract. So I said that my academic and professional experience over the years have provided me with knowledge of contract law and practice. I said, I am a Nigerian lawyer with an LLM from Queen Mary University of London. That means I have should they say relevant professional or academic qualifications or equivalent experience. They say legal qualification. That sentence alone demonstrates that legal qualification. Contract law and practice was a core module in my undergraduate degree, and one of my LLM core research topics was contract negotiation. To this end, I understand the different dynamics in contract negotiation and how all parties can achieve mutually beneficial outcomes in different scenarios. I have fulfilled that requirement. See, if you are looking for qualification, I have met it. So, and I usually segment my writing. I put them in paragraphs, I group different keywords in different paragraphs so that it's easy for them to track. In fact, there was a cover letter I wrote that I started off with the very first requirement. The first skill, I demonstrated it like that. The first, the second, the third, so that anybody that's reading the application, if you're using the job description like this and you're reading it, it's easy for you to match my experience to the job, the skills that you need. Sense will not finish me. Let's look for the next experience that this paragraph is going to fulfill. Relevant experience, demonstrable experience of contract drafting and negotiation, experience of contract managing relating to EU funded projects. See, I do not have experience of contract management relating to EU funded projects, but I have experience of contract management in a different funded project, and I'm going to demonstrate it. So you don't need to actually meet it word for word, but you can transfer your experience. You have transferable skills. Demonstrable experience of contract management in higher education, public sector, IP management or commercial environment. Direct experience of working in a research contract function. Experience of supporting international collaborative projects. I have that one. So let's see how I demonstrated it in this paragraph. I said, I have experience managing complex contract portfolios and processes, including contract negotiation, drafting, execution, compliance and dispute resolution, having previously worked as a legal officer and legal and operations manager. I have negotiated and drafted technical projects finance contracts with government departments. Project finance is a funded contract. You get the point. It needed not be a funded contract in EU or in higher education. Project finance is contracts that is funded. It's an arrangement that is funded. It's a finance. If you get it. I said in government departments. Why did I specify government departments? Because they said they wanted somebody with an experience in the public sector. Government department is a public sector. I said donor agencies. That is taking care of the EU funded project for me. Donor. I said donor agencies and international development organizations. Why did I bring in international development organizations? Because they say experience of supporting international collaborative projects. Come on. That's why I brought it up. I need not use this in another job application if they don't need it. But because they need this one, I would have to. Because one thing we don't understand, the thing is, you might have diverse experience, but the only thing that will get you shortlisted for that role is when you have been able to demonstrate that experience. There's a way another person would have the same experience that I have, but they are not able to demonstrate it in writing. And even if they demonstrate it in writing, they may not be using the relevant keywords that they need for this application. That's another thing you should know. Why you need to use the keywords. I said, the ownership, management, and transfer of intellectual property rights is also a core aspect of research funding, and this usually sits at the top of my priorities while negotiating any project-funded contract. Why did I say that? I said that because they said demonstrable experience of contract management in a higher education, public sector, IP management, or commercial environments. They did not just end it. There was a place that they asked specifically for intellectual property. That's why I put it there. So you've seen that in the first 2 paragraphs, I've been able to demonstrate a lot of experience in those 2 paragraphs. And I said, in my previous roles, I was part of a team that was in charge of negotiating, drafting, and reviewing all contracts between my organization and its stakeholders, which included clients, suppliers, investors, international organizations, donor agencies. Another keyword, international organizations, donor agencies, civil societies, government departments, and agencies, because they were looking for public sector experience. I said, in carrying out these duties, I use my keen eye for detail to identify and mitigate risk, protecting my organization's interest in every contract negotiation, ability to engage clearly, persuasively, and professionally with colleagues, management, and external parties. And they said, ability to work effectively as part of a team. Working in a corporate setting with people of various professions and expertise necessitates collaborative teamwork. As a contract specialist and lawyer, I was involved in all of the organization's transactions and projects. My colleagues would typically enlist my assistance in negotiating favorable contract terms for the organization. When I was in charge of drafting contracts or reviewing draft contracts, I would usually collaborate with the relevant department to ensure that the organization's main intentions and interests were protected. This approach would then guide me in understanding when parties... Wait, make I don't run too fast. I wanted to show you guys the keyword I used there. I was using collaborative teamwork as the keyword. Because when I'm drafting a cover letter, I do not just use the skills or person specifications. I also use the job description to show that I have done this thing before. This thing that you guys are looking for, I've done it before. I said this approach would then guide me in understanding when parties have reached acceptable outcomes during negotiation, because there was a requirement. They said the ability to understand when to end negotiations. So I use that. Collaborative teamwork necessitates the use of people management skills, and my effective interpersonal skills make me an ideal team member. The very first skill they wanted is interpersonal skills. See it here. Excellent interpersonal skills with the ability to demonstrate a service-oriented approach. So I've been able to demonstrate interpersonal skills there. See, they asked for excellent communication skills, verbal and written with a range of stakeholders, ability to negotiate and influence decision-making at a senior level. What did I do there? I said, as a critical thinker and dispute resolution professional, I approach problem solving creatively and use effective communication skills to positively influence management decisions. I used 2 keywords there, but I did not just isolate them. You don't have to isolate the keywords. You can infuse them in your sentences so that it flows naturally. So that the person or the person reviewing the application does not just think, this one was just hijacking keywords. And if it flows, they will not even question it. So make it flow, make it fluent, make it natural by using the keywords to demonstrate your experience. You see the way I'm putting the keywords, setting the keywords in different strategic positions. I'm not just putting everything together. In the main duties, they said ensuring agreements comply with the university's financial and governance regulations and have been appropriately authorized. So I have to demonstrate a previous experience where I have done that. I said, over the course of my responsibilities, I would take steps to review the organization's corporate policies to ensure compliance with government regulations and those of funding bodies. What do you think? I now went ahead to demonstrate how I did that. I gave like an example of how I did that. Don't worry, we're almost done, because my cover letters are usually 1.5 pages, nothing too long, because when it's too long, it becomes boring. Sometimes 1 page. So why my cover letter even gets to 1.5 pages is because some of this job, they ask for a lot of things. And if they ask for like 20 different skills that I have filtered out of the person's specification and out of the job description, then I have to demonstrate at least 80%, right? That's why it gets to 1.5 page. But if it's a job description where maybe it's just they're looking for like 10 skills and you can be able to demonstrate those skills in 1 page, perfect. A 1-page cover letter is so sweet and straight to the point and powerful. But most times my own is like 1.5 page. You can still make it. I have submitted an application with 2 pages before, but I don't think I was shortlisted. Or maybe I was shortlisted. But 2 pages is not as bad. After all, CV is 2 page. But the ideal cover letter length is 1 page. But mine is usually 1.5 page. But if you get to 2 pages because you have the reason to, no worries. It shouldn't be so fatal. Just ensure that you're not wasting words. I am proficient in the use of a variety of IT systems and software, including Microsoft Office Suite, various CRM, digital marketing platforms, document management systems, and virtual work platforms. Why did I say that? Because they're looking for somebody that knows and understands IT. They said here, ability to use IT systems and software appropriate to the role. So that's how I was able to demonstrate that one. I said I understand the UK university and higher education structure, administration, teaching, methods, recruitment and funding because I studied there on a postgraduate scholarship. Since I am passionate about the UK higher education sector, I have conducted in-depth research on various funding opportunities for prospective students and researchers, including identifying factors that influence international student migration, of which funding is a significant factor. This role is related to research funding. So you're going to be drafting content for funding bodies. That's why I put that sentence. I have also worked in a university setting which gives me a better understanding of the culture and values that exist in the UK higher education work environment, because they needed somebody that had this environment in the UK university higher education sector. So that sentence goes ahead to demonstrate that requirement. I said, this is the last paragraph. As a well-rounded professional with prior experience working in a culturally diverse environment, I believe I am best suited to carry out the responsibilities of this role. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is the way you curate your cover letter would determine if you are shortlisted for interview. Use the keywords in the job description. Demonstrate your experience with examples. Demonstrate your experience with examples. Because if you notice, when I say something, I show an example. I write, when I say, oh, I have IT skills, I go ahead to say something like, I was using it, I used so and so software in my previous role. That's like example to show that, oh, yes, I have example to show. That's it, guys. Let me know if you have any further questions. This is applicable on all kinds of application in all kinds of industries. How to demonstrate your experience. Make sure that you use the keywords that they are looking for. In fact, one tip that I should even give you before I leave this video is for your LinkedIn profile. Recruiters use keywords to search for people when they are recruiting. When they are looking for, if they are looking for a data analyst. I don't know why I just keep using data analyst. I'm sorry. I can't use lawyer again. I can't use doctor because I've been using that every time. If they are looking for an architect, and in the job description they are looking for specific things that they have done, they go to LinkedIn and put those keywords, and the people that pop up with those keywords are the people that they maybe open their profile, see if they want to contact them. That's the same thing that applies to CVs and cover letter. So if you've not watched the video on CV, please do well to watch and let me know if this video has been helpful. If you have any further questions, drop in the comment section. If you're yet to subscribe to the channel, what are you waiting for? Come on, do well to subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye bye.